On today's show, Minnesota Bound celebrates a Minnesota tradition. The great get-together might be canceled, so what? We can still enjoy great times and great stories. We revisit a few of our favorite state fair characters today.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hi everybody, Bill and I welcome you to a very special edition of Minnesota Bound.
Why are you so cheery?
I'm always cheery.
What a bummer. Normally we'd be sitting in front of the Minnesota Bound cabin right now at the fair with a crowd cheering on the stories, and here we are.
That is true, but we're still in the woods, just not the North Woods.
That's true. We are still going to celebrate the great get-together with a few of our favorite characters.
Travis Frank recently found the story behind an outdoor product that we would normally share with you at the Minnesota Bound Log Cabin.
It's a story about a lady who has a real love of fire.
Most products are built by inspired entrepreneurs looking to fulfill a need.
This isn't my prettiest look. Here we go.
Mary Hanahan had a need that inspired her to become an entrepreneur.
We could put another inch in here. One down.
At the Valley Molding Wood Shop in western Wisconsin, Mary collects an essential ingredient to produce her goods.
When she doesn't show up, we call her and tell her we have sawdust for her, so yes.
Sometimes they help me, sometimes I help them. And it complements their needing to get rid of it and our needing it to make our fire bars. Now home we go.
Come on, work time.
Another day.
In her garage-turned-workshop, a single burning flame provides inspiration for this family operation.
Well, they're called eco fire bars because they look like a little bar, and I started making them in April of 2017.
Mary and her husband Colin hand-build each bar from a recycled mixture of sawdust and palm wax. Both ingredients are 100% eco-friendly.
It is very precise, yes. So we weigh them, get them to the correct weight, and pop them in here.
I do feel like there's an art and a science to it.
Colin fills molds while Mary bakes the bars.
We really do have fun doing it, and we do work as a team. We don't even have to talk. We just know that one thing's happening, and then we do the next, and we just kind of play off each other.
These are the wicks to go into the fire bars. Just makes them nice and easy to light.
Like batches of freshly baked cookies, the fire bars pile up.
Could you bring me them wicks over, Mary, please?
We are busy making, like night and day. We've even had people we know say, if you need us to come over and help, we will.
Just like that.
They've become hot items for locals and traveling campers.
Oh, I sell them all around here, of course, in Hardware Hank and the ice cream store, Paradise Landing, gas stations, and at the Wisconsin Interstate Park. I like making them. I like kind of fussing over them.
Mary's simple process wasn't always a labor of love.
It surprised me. I never expected to be making fire starters.
Mary created her first fire bar out of necessity, all the way on the opposite end of the world.
I lived on an island in Northern Ireland for 6 years. And while I was there, I had a potbelly stove for my heat. That's all I had in this little cabin, 16 by 30. And I had just a miserable time making a fire.
Residents on Rathlin Island took Minnesota Mary under their wing and gave her the spark.
I wanted to be self-sufficient. I wanted to figure it all out myself. Water, heat, food, the whole deal. It's a lifestyle. It's just being careful and thoughtful, and those experiences made me choose this now.
Mary eventually returned home with her master's degree, a husband, and a better appreciation for the natural world, not to mention an eco-friendly business in a hot market.
But I'm still not a fire maker, but now I've got my own fire bars. I've come a long way, I think.
Thanks to a much-needed spark from foreign friends that created an eco-friendly entrepreneur.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut, Coors Light, Star Bank, and by Alumacraft Boats.
Today we take a look back at a few of our favorite Minnesota Bound stories at the fair. Up first, a true character. Ron Shera meets the Butterfly Lady, one of the favorites at our Minnesota Bound log cabin.
Behold the king of butterflies, the monarch, easily recognized, the most famous butterfly in North America. Now meet the queen of monarch butterflies, Rebecca Moriella Keene, Minnesota's Butterfly Lady.
I'm proud of my work. I'm proud of what I do.
Like the monarch, unmatched and unequal.
I told you, I smell like milkweed. And then in 2007, I told my husband, I said, I'm leaving construction. And I said, I'm out of here. I said, I'm going to go start the butterfly business. Everybody laughed at me. Of course, everybody was in construction. They all thought I was nuts.
Nobody laughs now.
I think I raised probably about $6,000 to $7,000 my first year. It was a fantastic first year. Well, last year was between $7,000 and $10,000. Kind of stays in that range. It just depends on how many orders I have. They're such a majestic butterfly. They migrate to Mexico. The population has been an issue for the past 20 years. In fact, this last year, the population came up again. We're increasing on the eastern monarch.
Yes, she's a butterfly farmer of sorts, selling her farm-raised monarchs to be released at schools, weddings, and the like, or at outdoor events like Game Fair in Ramsey, where kids are invited to open a tiny envelope and watch in awe. And she makes butterfly kits.
That's my favorite thing to sell.
A clear plastic cup with a milkweed and a caterpillar that, days later, turns into a monarch lighter than a thumbtack. Seems like, oh, so simple, but it's not.
Life starts with the monarch eggs. This is swamp milkweed, so it doesn't look like the common milkweed. And this is some of the eggs that my butterflies laid. Little white dots, yep, and these were all laid yesterday. Takes 2 to 4 days for the eggs to hatch. And here are some of the tiny babies. These are a day old. When they first hatch, they're the size of an eyelash.
2 weeks later, the monarch caterpillar we know is busy munching on the milkweed leaves.
It sheds its skin like a snake. And so then when it gets this big, it just eats until it's done. Milkweed is the only thing that monarchs eat.
By the way, when the butterfly lady says jump, the caterpillars do.
Watch them. Jump, jump, jump. Jump, jump, jump. You have so much fun at the butterfly farm, right?
Next, the caterpillar forms a J shape.
Well, they just hang like the letter J, but they're ready to make their chrysalis. They're done eating as a caterpillar now. The next time they eat, they will be a butterfly.
Then more magic.
In about 12 hours, it will enclose into a green chrysalis, which looks like this.
A few days later,
You can see the orange butterfly in there, and this butterfly is ready to emerge.
and shortly, a beautiful monarch unfolds like a dainty miracle. Spreading its golden wings, soon it's ready to leave.
This is the tent that we put the butterflies in before they go up for release. We have to make sure that their wings are properly developed and in good shape.
When will they mate?
When they feel like it.
In the flight room, it became obvious the monarchs loved their queen.
I love them from babies all the way up.
It's been said love is like a butterfly. It goes wherever it pleases and pleases wherever it goes. The same could be said about Rebecca, Minnesota's butterfly lady.
Still ahead, the sweet story of the fair's bee exhibit. But first, Laura gets cooking with a few of her favorite campfire favorites.
Closed captioning is brought to you by North Dakota Tourism.
Hi everybody, welcome back to our Minnesota Bound State Fair special. All those delicious smells at the State Fair have me hungry. So today we're getting wild in the outdoor kitchen, and I'm going to show you how to make some fun, kid-friendly campfire desserts. We're going to make two simple campfire cooked desserts. First, which will be brownies, and in fact when you're camping you don't want to carry a lot of things with you, so for our bakeware we're going to use oranges. First step to getting started to making coal-fired brownies is to cut your bakeware. And again, we're using an orange as our bakeware today. I'm gonna slice that in half and start scooping out the center part, which of course you can save for later. Now that we have our bakeware ready to go, we are going to get into making the brownie batter. And for the ease of convenience and not needing mixing bowls, etc., we're gonna use a freezer bag as our mixing bowl. And we're gonna use pre-made brownie mix. Whatever kind you like, whatever's your favorite will work. And first, we're gonna put the brownie mix right here in the freezer bag. There we go. And of course, we just follow the instructions on the back of the box, which requires, of course, a couple eggs. There's a couple tablespoons of water, also a couple tablespoons of oil. And I prefer adding a little extra chocolate to my brownie, so I'm going to add in about a half a cup of chocolate chips just to make it extra gooey, why not? And here's the fun part, which you can get your kids involved or family involved, is stirring this up in the freezer bag itself, and it just requires a little bit of molding the gooiness together. Our brownie batter is ready to go, and the easiest way to get the batter into our bakeware is to cut the tip of the freezer bag. We're now ready to fill our oranges with brownie gooey batter. As you can see here, it just comes right on out. The last step is to cover our brownies. Take the top part of the orange, create a little room there, wrap it up in foil ever so gently. Throw it under the coals for 30 minutes for gooey brownies. I would say 40 minutes for standard brownies. While our brownies are roasting in the fire, we're gonna make dessert number 2, s'mores in a cone. Campfire s'mores in a cone is oh so easy. I've got my Firebugs cone holder ready to go over the fire. You take a waffle cone, wrap it in some tin foil, set it in the cone holder, and all you do is add your favorite s'mores ingredients. When it comes to the ingredients of your s'mores, go ahead and get creative. I, of course, have the traditional items such as marshmallows and chocolate, but I like to add some fun things such as roasted peanuts, maybe a Cracker Jack or 2, raisins. I have Teddy Grahams here, and if you like a little salty and sweet, some chocolate-covered pretzels would do the trick. I'm gonna go with some marshmallows for sure. I like some roasted peanuts, more marshmallows. Last step, roast it right over the fire. It is officially tasting time. I think everything is roasted here. Let's see what we got. Oh, yes. Look at that. 2 easy, kid-friendly campfire desserts. Just can't beat it. It's ooey gooey, yet wildly delicious. See, even without the fair, you can make your own sweet treats right at home. For more delicious recipes, subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of our Wild in the Kitchen segments are there.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Shields, Otter Tail County, Minnesota, Bent Creek Golf Club, Eden Prairie, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Bees have people buzzing these days. Now, it's no secret they're on the decline, both honeybees and native bumblebees. Maybe that's why they attract so much attention at one of the fair's busiest attractions. Get it?
My name is David Schaff, and I'm the superintendent of the Bee and Honey Division here at the State Fair. We're in the Bee and Honey wing of the horticulture building, right in the middle of the fairgrounds. This is where all the apiary products and anything bee and honey related is displayed.
Number 263.
The judging for honey takes place usually the day before the fair, so we're kind of scrambling to get everything together.
2 off on container, 8 points.
But when they look through the samples, they're checking the container, they're checking how high the honey was filled in the container.
Absence of froth and foaming.
They're looking for froth or bubbles or any kind of impurities.
-2 on clarity is 18.
And then of course they also check the moisture of the honey, and honey has to be below 18.6% moisture, otherwise it won't stay stable in the jar. The last thing they'll do is they'll taste a little sample of it.
So we got 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Right now we're standing in front of our honey lots that have come in this year. What we see this year is a lot of really light clover honey, which is a real light, sweet honey. In addition to honey, we have several other categories in our competition. The biggest group is honey foods competition, so it's foods baked with honey. So a lot of it might be like cookies and pastries and cakes and that type of thing. In addition to that, we have another area that's all artwork and crafts that are made with beeswax, including such crafts as batik and Ukrainian eggs. Honeybees have been in trouble for the last several decades, but particularly in the last few years. There's a number of things that are affecting bees right now that we're very concerned about. Loss of habitat, diseases and pests, and lack of forage and nutrition. There's not as many bee colonies around as there used to be, and at the same time, more and more of the crops we depend on for food need to have bees to pollinate the fruit and set it up properly. We do a number of live demonstrations during the fair.
We're going to get the beard going here.
One day a year, it's a very special day. Gary Reuter from the University of Minnesota Bee Lab comes down and he does a live bee beard demonstration, which is quite a sight if you've never seen it. We always encourage people to try to buy honey from local sources because it's fresher, it's usually higher quality, and it's more interesting. You get all these different flavors captured that you normally don't get.
I miss my honey ice cream.
Well, I'll make you some walleye cakes to make up for it.
I'll get back to the fair.
Well, we hope we can get back to the fair next year. In the meantime, we hope you enjoyed today's show.
And until next week, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.